jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Big shout out to the hottest chatter in MF game, A-Side official. First in the building, Jay on deck. You already know what it is, a late one. Mike on deck, I see you. Make sure y'all hit the like button, man. I appreciate you. Let's get right down to it. I wasn't going to do a late night one with this one, but it's going to be a part 2 probably tomorrow. But I really want to let it sit out here so people can think about this. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people pushing it. Okay, I'm hearing interviews and everything like that. And you know, I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, the interview that was over there in Philly. That I want to give a reaction to, because I felt like at this point in time, the whole story is not being put out there correctly. You know, what Crawford had to go through for his fight with Spence when it came down to the public opinion. And then when you take Crawford being on top right now to people just desperately seeking anybody. And, you know, the fighter that's being pushed in the back, Jaron Ennis, he probably don't see it that way because, you know, he has a belt right now. But those individuals that's over there, they know good and well is zero respect in the way the belt was earned. You know what I'm saying? It's just that way. So in the thumbnail, you have Terence Crawford, who's 40-0 and 31 knockouts. And Jaron Ennis, 31-0, 28 knockouts. Now, of course, these fighters both came into the professional ranks at different times. You know what I'm saying? Jaron Ennis came in 2016. Terence Crawford was already here, and I think back in 2008, I believe. Regardless, he's amassed a numerous of fights. You know, 31 victories, 28 knockouts. He's sitting at 90.32%. 90.32 percentile. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 90.32 percentile is knockout. Let me get Terence Crawford up here. He's sitting at 77.5%. You know what I'm saying? 77.5%. Then his knockout percentage. He's 36 years of age, southpaw, 5'8", 74 inches. And Ennis is 5'10", 74 inches, and he's 26 years of age. Okay? So, what I've been hearing out here, shout out to YSM. He conducted an interview over there with Greg Hackett. Shout out to Greg, man. Much respect to Greg Hackett, man. He been around for a while, man, in the boxing game. Real talk. I used to see him over there on Facebook before everybody kind of migrated over here to YouTube. So, you know, nothing but respect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also, you know, giving a reaction to, you know, in light of what he said prior to and the criticism that they had for Crawford, and then what he's saying for Boots. I just don't agree with some of the things he's saying about his fighter, because he's been in the gym for quite some time. And like I said, it's nothing but respect. But I gotta have I gotta put it out there on the way I genuinely feel about the way you coming with Boots on how he got the title, and then what you think about Crawford's situation right now. You know what I'm saying? But let me show you something right quick, y'all. Let me take this thumbnail down, and this is Jaron Ennis' resume. Y'all already seen his resume. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to show it to you again. The reason why I'm showing it to you is because it needs to be put out there to the public that not too long ago, last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, Crawford was going through a firestorm of criticism. You know what I'm saying? Black boxer from Omaha, Nebraska, going in there against another black fighter out of DeSoto, Texas. They was coming up with all types of criteria that Crawford didn't meet. Here it is, Boots. He's a title holder. You know what I'm saying? He's a title holder, man. We all know how he earned receipt of the title. And I must reiterate this, man. I don't dislike Boots, but the favor of the fighter that I favor is Crawford, of course. But just because I have criticism of Boots, it's the same as me criticizing Spence, man. I don't want any of them to take it any type of way. But I am gonna put my hot grease out there. Period. So it was so much hot, so much a firestorm of freaking criticism for Crawford and what he didn't do, and then what he did do that was on his resume. It wasn't enough. Those individuals wasn't nobodies. They considered them every time the conversation was brought up. It was always WHO. You know what I'm saying? Not the World Health Organization. It's who did he fight? Who is that guy? Who? That's all. They sound like a pair of American Best owls in the commercial. Who? Every time Crawford name popped up and they talked about the resume, it's who? I'm saying to myself, damn, these cats act like, look, check this out. They act like boxers don't go through the same format to build up their resume until they start fighting winning records. That happens, man. That is the format of boxing. Fighters go through a select names of fighters who may be considered nobodies until they get to the point in their team deem them fit for duty. Fit for duty means finally stepping up your competition. That's what that is. Finally stepping up your competition. We're going to scroll Autumn. You know what I'm saying? Because he has 31 victories. So if you look right there, you see the whole entire process. Like I said, I'm not going to waver from staying on code. A lot of fighters do what Boots did. They pretty much go through an inflation period where they fight fighters who aren't that good. Their resumes, they have losses already. So you can go all the way up, through his resume until the point where he actually start consistently facing fighters who had winning records. You know what I'm saying? So we can go right here for 3-18, right? And then we can go to, right here. That's a losing record. That's in 2017, right? Keep strolling up. That's 15-10, 13-9, 23-17, 26-10. And then Armando Alvarez, a fighter with undefeated record, in 2018. Kudos. Serrano, 24-5. Franklin Mamani, 23-5, 12-1, 14-1, 23-5, 28-2, 16-1, 25-5, 19-0. Cussio Clayton, who laid down like a a new pair of sheets, man. You know what I'm saying? And Chudikin 21-1, and then Ramon Villa. So if you take, let's go down to Sergey Lipinets. This is where it starts, because we can't add Chris Van Heerden, who only had 2 losses. This is no contest, headbutt. You know what I'm saying? We can't do a Brew. He already had 5 losses. No way. And Bart Hiar Urabov, that dude was like 4'9". You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let me click on Bart Urabov right quick. 5'6". I was close. 5'6". Right? And his last fight was Jaron Ennis in 2020. See what I'm talking about? This is why I made the thumbnail, because people tend, to start gathering and pushing the Boots Ennis, you know what I'm saying, the Boots Ennis train, so it can go to the next station in Omaha, and hopefully the contract gets signed. So let's start with Sergey Lipinets, right? And we got to play hopscotch with this. Right? Sergey Lipinets, former super lightweight champion, came up, had several fights, and with 1 defeat, he went in there and lost to Jaron Ennis in the 6th. Okay? The best fighter on his resume right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm talking about, straight up with the, been in there with Mikey Garcia, you know what I'm saying, legitimate credential or whatever. We got skip over Thomas Delorme, Cusio Clayton. His record looked the part, but he didn't show up to do anything, man. Karen Chudikin, he was with the USA track club, like Jamel Charlo. You know what I'm saying? They was both in the 200 meters and the 400 meters. He came in there and ran around the ring until the last freaking lap. He started to slow down a little bit. And then you got Ramon Villa. Ramon Villa, had his momentum off Rashidi Ellis. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time people actually knew who Villa was, off Rashidi Ellis win. So he has about, I would say 2. I would say Sergey Lipinets and Ramon Villa, i.e. Rashidi Ellis win. What that says is, I just briefly went over, someone who has 31-0 and 28 knockouts. At one point in time, I was giving criticism to Devin Haney's resume because he had mediocre opponents on there. He had a lot of fights in Mexico, but, he cleaned that up. He started fighting bigger names, and we all seen what happened. He put the windshield wipers on. He fought Jojo Diaz. He fought George Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? Not just anywhere. He fought him twice in his backyard. Then he came from Australia and he fought freaking Lomachenko here in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, at one point in time, his freaking resume received a freaking D- as far as the credentials. Now we're on the boxing FICO scores. For real. Does Jaron Ennis boxing FICO add up? You know what I'm saying? Does his boxing FICO add up to anything that we can consider that qualifies him for a Crawford match for Undisputed? This is what I'm trying to find out. What you just seen on Jaron Ennis' resume, does it qualify him just because he has a freaking a good inquiry on his resume? You know what I'm saying? He has the interim IBF champion, because the IBF championship is not on his resume. You know what I'm saying? On his resume, what we see on BoxRec, if you go back over there, right? If you go back over to his resume, titles, interim world welterweight title. I didn't put that up there. You know what I'm saying? The one he actually fought for, interim world welterweight. You know what I'm saying? The IBF interim. He fought for that. He fought for that. But he didn't fight for the IBF super title. That's fact. I'm not coming up here just making up shit, just for fun. I'm going through stuff, man. I'm providing people a different layer to how to look at this shit. You have to look at Jaron Ennis' FICO score. And I know that language is not used across YTC. It's all good. But I like speaking about a FICO score when it comes to boxing. Because Jaron, at this point in time, I don't know whether to say your FICO score is the way it is because people wasn't quite confident in you taking that next step. I don't know what took you so long, but at 31 victories in, it's not a single person on your record that pretty much adds up to, someone saying consistently, that particular fighter equals that of, Errol Spence Jr. That particular fighter meets that of Sean Porter or Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? They can't find that on your resume. So what qualifies Jaron Ennis to be pushed and encouraged out here for people to believe that, yeah, we should be talking this undisputed talk with Crawford just because he has an IBF title? What good does it do for Crawford to go in here and fight a guy? And then you know how critical they are, Crawford, anyway. They won't even give him credit for fighting a guy who was on the pound for pound list with him for the longest of time and was a unified champion. Errol Spence had 3 titles when Crawford stepped in the ring with him. Boots is going to have 1, and he didn't even fight anyone to get it. So how is Crawford going to get credit just to go in there and become 3 times undisputed? We need to think about that. I'm pretty sure Team Crawford is already on top of that. You know what I'm saying? He's already been on record saying he don't have anything to offer. But I still believe it's up to me to provide you with other, legitimate criteria of his boxing FICO. His boxing FICO, being he's undefeated, is fair. He has a fair credit score when it comes to his resume. A fair one. It's just fair. That means he's going to get denied certain things. And I think this fight with Crawford should be one of those denials. Real talk. I truly believe he needs to go through the same demands that Bud had to go through. This man already had 3 divisions. I'm talking about three legitimate divisions, man. And they was up here saying he didn't rate the fight. Errol Spence, who only had 1 division with a title. 1 division. Crawford had already completed more in his legacy than Errol Spence. But when it came for Crawford to face Spence, they was up here saying that he don't even rate it. He don't even rate it. They saying the man business was wrong. Well, if his business wrong, what the heck is going on with Ennis? Was his business right? He was locked into a legal situation that kept him on the shelf for a little bit. No one's talking about that. Look, I'm not being facetious, the brother. Real talk. I don't consider Jaron to be an Errol Spence. I'm just spitting boxing, okay? I'm just kicking the hot grease on boxing. I'm just keeping it square across the board. They have been on record themselves criticizing Crawford. They took an oath somewhere in Philly over the gym that everybody in the gym had something negative to say about Crawford heading into this Errol Spence fight. I'm saying how? How can you dog him out and now you want to fight him? You was dogging him out and now you want to fight him. Y'all still didn't give the man full credit for beating Spence because people running around here with a bogus ass narrative talking about Spence was weight drained and shit. How does that work? I'm not getting it per se. You know what I'm saying? Help me understand, man. It's certain times that I maybe should have been in class, but I wasn't in class. You know what I'm saying? It might have been certain freaking, assignments that I just didn't turn in. You know what I'm saying? They might have dealt with digging a little bit deeper to the neurological areas of using your freaking recall and catalog and the mid part of your brain and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Firing off the left and right hemisphere. Some of that shit just may have eluded me. But tell me how a majority of a gym can go against a fighter and say he ain't fought nobody. He ain't did this. I remember shit like this. You criticized him. You say the man haven't did anything in his career. He's a multi-division champion when he was heading in there to fight Errol Spence. They was criticizing him for fighting nobodies in the welterweight division. So if you know they were saying he fought nobodies at welterweight, then everybody else below that at 140 and 135 was also nobodies. So when the fight got closer, they was going for Spence. Why? Because Spence is from their backyard. Not Philly, but he's from over there. So they said, okay, you know what I'm saying? We're going to stick with it. We're going to Spence. And then they was just showing, and so much like, he went over there and fought Avocado and all that. Like, that got to do with anything in the sport. Like, once again, we're talking about people in boxing that knows boxers and how they come up in the sport with their resume. They know they fight freaking soft touches. They know that. Some of them donuts be extra soft. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is with these freaking, you know, when a fighter is elevating and coming up through the ranks, climbing the ladder. But all the criticism, then he beats him. Then it's partial credit given. Look, it's partial credit given for the way he manhandled Spence. They rather listen to these freaking channels that they supposed to show mad love to, that was up there creating excuses. These cats was on panels of content creators who was pushing bogus ass narratives. My take in life is, if I'm over if I'm over on somebody's panel, or if I'm in a group, or I'm just, you know, have a circle of people, and they're basically talking shit about somebody, right? If just say the conversation is on that fight, and they're creating false aspersions about Crawford's win over Spence, and I don't correct them, that means I'm wrong too. I'm absolutely wrong. I didn't correct them. It's not that I agree with them. I just didn't do what was right and correct them. I seen people over there letting people get away with come up with all these damn lies and let people push these false ass narratives and run a smear campaign on them. None of these cats will freaking correct them. None of these cats will correct them. But now you have Ennis, who experienced all that turbulence of people that was criticizing Crawford. Now they need Crawford. They're trying to put it off that Crawford's in a predicament, like he doesn't have options. The man has a plethora of options. You know what I'm saying? But you want to fight him now. Why? People around you over there was saying that his resume wasn't anything, though. Like, y'all wasn't giving him no credit for doing nothing in boxing. Some of them said, you know, he can fight and all that, but we really never seen him go in there against a so-called opponent that was on the pound-for-pound list like that, and in the same division, unified champion. People saying that Spence did more in his career. They never witnessed a fighter that they was rooting for that's supposed to be the creme de la creme on the pound-for-pound list, the truth, man down, the big fish, strap season. They never seen nobody manhandle him like Crawford did. This wasn't no Kell Brook affair. This wasn't no Mikey Garcia affair. It was a Omaha, Nebraska Bud Crawford affair. And majority of them people that was over there criticizing the shit out of Crawford, even when he fought Albanese, now all of a sudden, he should consider Jaron Ennis, all because Spence want to come out in a wheelchair and talk about he had an eye surgery, like it had something to do with his feet. He had to be wheeled it out when he could have already been to the doctor. Nobody's really paying attention to this. Seriously, nobody's really paying attention, and ask yourself why. Why does he get a pass with this? Let me listen to it once again. I'm gonna bring up and shout out to YSM. Much respect to YSM. Real talk, but I gotta play the audio of one of your videos. All right. He's doing his damn thing over there, and you know why I'm using his video, because he is the primary media source over there in that gym, and he did a good he did a very solid interview with Greg Hackett. And once again, you know, shout out to Greg Hackett. You know, he's a real one at the end of the day. He ain't just a you know, content creator that's out here, you know, talking boxing. He's actually in the gym training fighters. But I want you to take, you know, a listen to what he said. You know what I'm saying? One of the videos, it said Greg Hackett reveals why Hummy McGill doesn't receive resume criticism. Yes, he does. He received resume criticism. I do. I say he ain't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? He get in and get out, because he's a nobody. People treat Hummy McGill like a nobody, and he's damn near, you know, over there. That's another day, another story. All right. Hold on for a second. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay. I'm gonna bring up this next one and let y'all listen to some audio. Okay, I need to put the disclaimer up here. Once again, this is YSM Sports Media, his video. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he gonna do it, but that's the content disclaimer. All right? I'm about to let you listen to some audio. This is some audio of his interview with Greg Hackett, okay? So I just wanted to show you the interview. And I'm gonna put this thumbnail back up there. So just pay attention to the audio and what he said. All right.
Yeah. So with Tim Tszyu facing Keith Thurman, those are two more opponents that's off of Terence Crawford's list. I know people, a lot of fans were feeling like Tim Tszyu would be the perfect fight, if not for a Canelo fight.
Yeah.
And now Earl Spence is on the shelf, eye surgery. Yeah. It's looking like Canelo's going to face Jamal Charlo. He doesn't want to face Boots. And now you're taking Tim Tszyu, Danny Garcia, and he doesn't want to face Keith Thurman or Jamel Charlo. I'm sorry. What should Terence Crawford do next, and what do you think he's going to do next?
I think they're trying to leave him without any options and force the fight with him and Boots.
So this is Greg Hackett talking. He's a trainer, one of the prominent trainers over there in Philly. So he said they're trying to force him to a fight with Boots. That's just, you know, that's just you pushing, you know what I'm saying, trying to push the energy. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's his guy, man. You know, if I was over there and I was in the gym like that, I'll push it too. I'll try to help make somebody believe that too. But, you know, them trying to force him to fight Boots, they could have did it a whole different way, Greg. And this is the way they could have did it. They could have let Crawford keep the belt, and then, being that he grandfathered the mandatory, he grandfathered what Errol Spence had, and Crawford was the undisputed. If y'all just would have let the belt stay there, Boots would have got his shot at Crawford. He would have had no other choice but to do it. You get the belt, you take it. The IBF. People get the you know, enforce or whatever, get the people to submit the paperwork, snatched the belt, right? Now you're waiting in limbo and you're trying to tell the people that, well, he's in a rock and a hard place. They trying to force him to fight Boots. That don't make any sense because all they had to do was let Crawford keep the belt and Boots be the mandatory, and the IBF is one of the strictest sanctioning bodies. He would have had no other choice but either to vacate, and then y'all would have had a lot to say. If he would have vacated, then they say, okay, he vacated the belt, and he didn't want to fight Boots. He ducked or whatever. You know the language out here. But that didn't happen. If you just would have let him keep the belt, they would have forced a mandatory. Then that letter would have went out the right way. But due to all that internal, red tape, politics, whatever reason they felt that they need to go through extreme measures to enforce stripping Terence Crawford of the belt is why I don't have any empathy for you all being on the outside. Because what you just said, why would they force Crawford to fight Boots? And he already had the IBF title, and a letter was sent in to strip him of that. When in fact, if they just would have let him stay the IBF champion and made Boots the manager, that's the whole reason why he was facing Korean Chudikin to get the interim IBF title. Then if you would have let him keep the freaking IBF, then they would have put the paperwork in that his mandatory that he inherited from Spence would be Boots. And then we wouldn't be talking. We wouldn't have this conversation, bro. Am I right or wrong? I mean, what are we doing? Extra work? What's the saying? Work harder, not smarter? Is that the saying? Work harder, not smarter, right? Because that's what it seemed like. You submit the paperwork, get the title, now you want Crawford, and Crawford saying he's a theater fighter. You don't have any leverage. Even the title that you have, you don't have any leverage. You would have had mad leverage if y'all just let him kept the title, and then he was up next for the mandatory. That's just the way I see it.
Boots didn't fight for the IBF, but he holding it. Credentials.
Greg said he didn't fight for the IBF, but he holding it. It's credentials. Crawford had a hell of a lot of credentials, Greg. You know this, bro. You in the fight game. He had a hell of a lot of credentials. I'm talking about a lot of credentials when he was lined up to fight Spence. And that man couldn't get no LOVE from the boxing community, let me tell you. He couldn't get no love, shawty. None. But you say Boots, he didn't fight for it, but he holding it. Hey man, it's love for your boy. I get it, bro. I get it. You showing love for your fighter. I get it, man. But no, it doesn't make any sense to me. Only if you saying work harder, not smarter. Because all the IBF, y'all could have pushed for the IBF. The IBF could have told y'all, we're going to let him keep the belt and you're going to be the mandatory. So he has no way except to be forced to fight you there, Boots. But no, the freaking letter was submitted. It seemed underhanded. It seemed very insidious. It seemed like somebody was just trying to get a title and show Crawford, prove to Crawford something. I don't know what the fuck they was trying to prove to him. But why couldn't Boots just do it the protocol way and just become his mandatory and force Crawford to fight him or vacate? Y'all snatched the title from the man.
There's not too many guys out there looking to fight Boots, and Crawford stuck between the rock and the hard place.
He said Crawford stuck a rock in the hard place. What rock? What rock is that? Because I'm gonna tell you, it might be a little bit hard to sleep on all that money he just made last year. Money ain't, look, when you stack money up like that, that shit ain't no goddamn that Tempur-Pedic mattress. You know, when you laying on money, it don't feel like no Tempur-Pedic mattress, for real. That shit is not soft. You know what I'm saying? It is not soft. You might goddamn look at that shit, in your pocket and pull out a ward, and it might flex on you a little bit, and I say, yeah, I like the way that feel right there. But when you get all the money that they made, and you lay on top of that motherfucker, it ain't soft, bro. So I don't know what rock. Are you talking about the money he made it July 29th? That rock? because that's a hard place he can get off of and still feel good about himself, going in there and getting the job done. Not only that, but he killed 2 boxers in one night. Killed 2 boxers in one night. Still, I stand on this. Why strip Crawford of the IBF and now plead with him to fight y'all and pick up the phone when y'all would have been the mandatory? It makes no sense to say that it's credentials. Crawford had credentials, and y'all stripped the man of the credential after he went in there and fought for the credential. Real talk. He fought for the credential, big dog. He fought for that shit. He fought a pound for pound fighter for the credential, and y'all stripped him of it.
So why not make him in boots? If they make that fight oversee all these fights we talking about right now.
I disagree, big dog. Real talk, Greg. Canelo's in boots. You know what I'm saying? Crawford Canelo is way bigger than Crawford boots. We know that. We know that. For real. A Charlo fight would have been bigger than boots. Why? Because Jamel Charlo was former undisputed, just like Teofimo moving up to 140 and find Josh Taylor, who still had the WBL millennial title. If Charlo would have kept his titles instead of going up here just goddamn running his pockets and dropping shit all over the place, he up here dropping his title like he had a pocket full of change. That nigga tried to come off that motherfucker quick. You know what I'm saying? WBO gone. Vacate the IBF. Goddamn, get off that. Look, I don't give a damn if he's supposedly in recess or not. That don't mean shit. That motherfucker vacate the title, and it's not guaranteed he's gonna come back and fight that shit. Why would you come back as an undisputed, former undisputed, and then go in recess and call yourself returning back to 154? To do what? You already done been there. Your brother moved up to 160. He's about to move up to 168, and you hang out at 154?
I think that's the fight to make. Why not? It's a great fight. Terence Crawford said he might fight once, twice more, and that's it. Anyway, why not fight Boots?
I hear you saying that, Greg. Why not fight Boots? Why should he fight Boots? Do you feel Boots' FICO score equals up to be qualified for approval to face Crawford per his resume? Now, granted, you have to scan this shit, Greg. You've been in the game for a long time, man. Like, you got to look at the FICO score of Crawford's resume and compare it to Boots. It takes more than him having an interim IBF title. You got to freaking review the shit, bro. Why not? This is not no freaking charity giveaway. You're talking about an elite fighter who's a Hall of Famer right now, as we speak, a legend in the sport of boxing, 2-time undisputed, and you want him to say, why not? Why should he, though? Why should he fight Boots just based off a up-and-coming fighter? Crawford wasn't even an up-and-coming fighter, bro. He was already established. His shit was lamented, solidified. He solidified, bro. He was already undisputed. He was 3-weight world champion. Haven't lost a single fight in the welterweight division and throughout his professional career. Went in there and beat a pound-for-pound fighter who they said was bigger than he was, possessed more power than Crawford did. He was a much more popular fighter, much more rough, brawling type of fighter. They just seen this man as indestructible. And Crawford went in there and freaking made him look below average. And you say, why not Boots? I mean, why should he fight Boots, man? His freaking resume doesn't qualify him to go in there and fight somebody like Crawford. Yeah, if Crawford want to add to his legacy, right? Yeah, he can go in there and fight for 3-time undisputed. Kudos to him. But when it comes down to, boxing talk, people talking about this years from now, they're going to say, well, who did he fight? He 3-time undisputed. Who did he fight to get 3-time undisputed? Well, this is what happened. He beat Spence for 2-time undisputed. And then he didn't even have the titles for 90 days. And the IBF submitted some bogus ass dead-end paperwork, knowing he couldn't even freaking accept what the request was. They stripped him of the IBF, and the fighter who received the IBF title turned right back around and tried to put himself in a pleading position to say, I know you still had I know you once had the title that I have now, but I want to fight you. When he could have just left him with the title and became the mandatory, and the shit would have went a whole lot smoother. But the title was snatched in a grimy type way. Now Crawford looking at it like, why should I go and fight you for a title that he feel that somebody on your team encouraged that type of paperwork, that administrative logistics to happen? It was encouraged, because why do that? It makes no sense to remove yourself from being a mandatory so you can sit on a title and then say, hey, he can fight me, he can fight me. Wouldn't he have had to fight you if you let him keep that IBF and use the mandatory? Come on, bro. Come on, man. It don't make it's not a lick of sense in the world. It's not a lick of sense in the world, man. You're gonna convince me of that shit.
Great fight.
Now, as far as the options go,
Yeah.
if Terence Crawford were to want that fight at 154 pounds,
Yeah.
what does that fight look like?
Interesting, because we just saw Crawford look like a 54-pounder. You know what I'm saying? We know his body can adjust to picking up weight. Shortly after the fight with Spence, he took a picture and was like, I'm 75 pounds right now, 180 pounds right now. So we know he that big. We know Boots that big. We never seen Boots at 54 though. I mean, we ain't never see Crawford at 54.
And that's some real shit. That's some real shit. You know what I'm saying? That's some real shit. They never seen Boots at 154 pounds. Never. I can respect that. Boots do have a frame for a 154 pounder. So does Crawford. Boots has it. He's a big 47 pounder. Boots is that. That I agree with. He is big for 147 pounds prior to him cutting weight. And Crawford showed people nutrition, and whoever his freaking nutritionist is in strength condition, man, they got him right for that fight. He still went in there and looked dominant.
But we see what his body looked like when he really pick up weight and put some muscle on. I think Boots had to do the same thing, put a little bit of muscle on. And first round, I see a jab contest. I mean, I see both of them trying to out-jab each other. Why? Because there's going to be a lot of respect being given in the ring from both sides. Not because they scared of each other, but because I know he's capable of hurting a guy with one shot, and the same would be said for the opposite side. I know he's capable of hurting a guy with one shot, and I ain't about to go out here and get cracked in the first round and lose. I mean,
I kind of disagree with you, Greg, on that one shot deal. You're talking about hurting maybe lower tier competition, but both of them are not really one shot type of fighters like that. You know, they break their opponents down. I mean, look at when we can just go to the point when Jaron Ennis, fought Ramon Villa. They went into the 10th round, man. Jaron Ennis fought Karen Chudikin. They went 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? We can't really look at the Cusio, Clayton, Thomas, Delorme's. And you know what I'm saying? Sergey Yipin, yes, is legit. But him and Crawford are not one-punch knockout artists. They can break their opponent down. Absolutely. They can break him down. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel they're, okay, when you come out working the jab, of course, yeah, I'll check the box on that. They come out and get a filling out process, and the jab might be active for both fighters, no doubt. But as far as them thinking, one punch and all that, nah. I mean, both of them have consistent. You know what I'm saying? They will break you down over time if you let them. But we'll get to that.
So I see a hell of a jab contest from both sides, from both stances, from both sides. You know what I'm saying? Second round, I see it heating up a little bit. You know what I mean? Some lead left hands, lead right hands being thrown, some hooks, but still not getting too out of control. Third round, that's where it's gonna pick up, and that's where it's gonna get nasty because both guys will figure, you know what, I got his timing down. And then that's where the mystery lies. I don't think this is one of those fights where motherfucker get hit with a shot and go out and it's over. I think it'll be a war from 3 all the way to 12. You know what I mean? As much as we talk about both of them can hit, both of them got speed, power, I don't think they'll knock each other out. I think that's the type of fight. Both guys gonna bite down on their mouthpiece and they're gonna be tearing ass all the way through the 12th round.
Well, this is what I have to say about that, Greg. I feel that they're gonna have a filling out process. Real talk. I do agree with them having a filling out process. I can't really go through what round it's gonna pick up because that's like shooting in the light. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, let me just imagine what that time, what that bout would look like, what that night will feel like. You know, what the vision, if I close my eyes and picture it, I get it. This is where it gets a little fuzzy for me. If you feel it's going to be a war, I will ask you to look at Terence Crawford's resume at 147 and tell me who was in a war with Crawford, who has been able to get Crawford's timing down that early in the fight. Kell Brook did a pretty decent job. He was landing some nice, jabs on Crawford, to the latter part when on southpaw. But I'm saying, who has started to get Crawford's timing down? We got cats out here saying that they don't even know. They haven't seen Crawford really unleash his entire cachet. Like, Crawford is definitely going to be a fighter that's going to be difficult to look at film. Because like Crawford said, he don't look at too much film. His team do. Why? Because that fighter is not going to fight him like they did the other fighters that they fought. You know what I'm saying? Intellect, right? So when it comes down to it being a war, who has taken Crawford in a war? Who has Crawford been in a war with, though? Like, Benavidez went to the 12th round, but he ended up getting stopped. Was it a war? I don't know. It was a nice, you know what I'm saying? It was a nice fight, but you got to look at how far back that fight was and what Crawford has done since then. You know what I'm saying? So to think that you don't believe either fighter can knock each other out, Crawford has stopped everybody at welterweight for a reason. For a reason, brother. For a reason. I know you can't sit up there and bring up that, but he has stopped everybody at welterweight for a reason. If Boots does not have any type of name on his resume, you know what I'm saying? That equals 3 top tier names supposedly that y'all want to talk about with a Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Errol Spence Jr. How do you know Jaron Ennis won't go out quicker than Spence? What are you saying? What's to justify this, brother? Like, who on his resume? Just like they were saying with Crawford. Errol Spencer beat everybody on Terence Crawford's resume. Who on Jaron Ennis' resume is going to sit up here and just goddamn sweep through Terence Crawford's resume? Who on there, for one, is going to beat Errol Spence? On Jaron Ennis' resume, who's going to beat Errol Spence? Who's beating Sean Porter? Who's beating Kell Brook at that time? So if we don't have any opponent comparisons, I think you kind of off the mark with saying that you don't feel one of them get knocked out. I surely think Crawford can stop Jaron, depending on what type of pace of the fight. I do feel that way. This man has stopped everybody in the welterweight division, and you giving a therapeutic exemption to Ennis just because of what again? Because he's 26 years old? Have you taken a look at the people Crawford has stopped? Have you taken a look at the cast? If Jaron has never been in there with somebody to the likes of Crawford, Spence, Porter, Brook, who are you gauging off them? Who are you gauging? Because them are top tier names who Crawford stopped. Who's going to say Ennis is better than them 3? Nobody. He hasn't stepped in the ring with him. So how do you know this man ain't gonna get stopped? Hey, I disagree with you, Greg, for real. You know what I'm saying? On some boxing shit, I just disagree with this, man. You keeping it light, bro. You keeping it light. I disagree with you. I think Crawford, according to how the pace is, he definitely has the tools to go in there and stop Jaron Ennis. That may not be language you want to hear, but he has the tools, man. How do he has the tools? All you have to do is look on his resume. These ain't freaking YMCA fighters. These are elite fighters, bro.
And it's gonna come down to the cards, and whoever can hold up the longest win the fight. Simple.
He said the fight's gonna go down to the cards, man. Come on, man. Come on, Greg. You better than this, man. I know you for a long time. I know I ain't had no conversations, but I've known about you for a while. Come on, bro. This man has stopped everybody, and you're talking about the fight's gonna go to the cards. How? How do you see that? Just because Korean Chudikin ran the whole fucking time, they went to the cards. I mean, how do you see that shit playing out, bro? How? Crawford is not Ramon Villa. Crawford is not any of them fighters that's on Jaron Ennis' resume. No one on his resume you can put and compare styles for styles and compare, body of work to body of work. Compare FICOs to FICOs. You can't do it based off Jaron Ennis' resume. He may have 9 less professional fights, but you can't pick one name on there that you're saying once he started winning his titles and everything like that, someone when it got to the top tier opposition in the welterweight, who are you putting in there that can better get you vested and feel good about those comments you're making? Going to the scorecards. This man is on a freaking demolition mission, Greg. They call this man a demolition man, dog. He stopped everybody.
They hold belts at 147 pounds, but Crawford's on the record saying 47 is getting harder than me.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked, what does it look like at 54?
Yeah.
Now, who does a specific weight class favor a specific fighter or give an edge to a specific fighter?
I think the odds is the same no matter what weight class they fight because it's a 9-year difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? Boot's still gonna be the younger man no matter what. Crawford gonna be still the experienced man no matter what. So you get the same fight whether they fight at 47, 54, 60, 68. You get the same fight.
Man, I don't get it, bro. Because you're saying, since Boots is younger than Crawford, you're going to get the same fight at a higher weight class. I don't get it, man. Y'all truly don't know how athletic and gifted Crawford is, man. I disagree with you, Greg, for real. I disagree with you, brother. I do, man. Like, you're saying you're going to get the same fight? Bro, the amount of fights that he had at 147? And then you're saying, hey, you don't have to cut down to 47 no more. You're going to go to 54. Oh, that man's gonna be out of this over the moon, man. He don't have to cut down to 47. He's going to be much stronger, everything. We don't know that about Boots, just like you said. You never seen Boots fight at 154. But for Crawford, he's had plenty of fights, tough fights, at 147-pound limit. So I don't see the fight being the same fight at each weight class. I don't see it. You have people up here believing he can beat Canelo Alvarez there, Greg. Man, you keeping it light. You keeping the Philly light, bro. Seriously, you keeping the Philly light over there, man. You it's no way, man. And I know you know your boxing. But I just cannot fathom that you saying it's gonna be the same as they advance up in weight. It's gonna be the same fight because Boots is 9 years younger, and what does that got to do with skills? A lot of his opponents that's on his resume right now was younger than Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter might have been up there, but a lot of them cats he fought, you know what I'm saying, especially in the welterweight division, was not older than Crawford.
each time.
And then, you know, shout out to YSM Sports Media, man. That was his video, and I just wanted to touch bases on that because I think Greg was keeping it Philly light, man. You know, that's pretty much, you know, you know, being reserved in your comments, keeping it light, because he really don't want to say anything like Teofimo Lopez just because they got a title and they'll definitely, you know, feel good if they was to get that fight. But do they really want the fight is the question. I'm not sure. Do they genuinely want to step in the ring with Crawford? I don't understand that, because the whole situation, in my opinion, was done backwards. It was done backwards for the respect of Philly fighters, because them cats are cut different when it come to boxing over there. You know, Philly had a freaking, you know, a foundation over there when it came to boxing back in the day. So for him to say that he may not won the title, but he's holding it, that doesn't wager the amount of respect as you step in the ring and fighting for it. That doesn't wager that respect. That's a penny. That's a penny compared to the numbers you could have got going in there and fighting for that title. Y'all submitted paperwork on a situation where you would have been first in line and then fight that man. And you're talking about in the IBF, where the IBF is one of the strictest sanctioning bodies to get these fighters to fight their mandatory. I don't get it, bro. It's not adding up. It ain't mathing. Let me get to the chat right quick. Boots versus Crawford going to be Trinidad versus Vargas all over again, but even worse. Dang. Ugh. Ooh. But Crawford is a Tito Trinidad, like Ennis is Vargas. Tito Trinidad was scary. Tito wasn't no joke, man. You know, that's the one of the fighters when he was dropped, I said, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he got tougher every time he got dropped and got up. He said, "What going on, Trick the Oracle in the building? Salute to you, man." He said, W said, "What's good? I just got done with my class online. I've changed my careers to become a third grade teacher." Rolly's in the class too. He read to us online. He sounded like he was chewing thumbtacks. That man sounded like he was chewing thumbtacks, man. Man, y'all gonna get Rolly goddamn come over here and goddamn say, "What's all the joking about, man? You know, learning is fundamental." Hey, man, shit, dog. Bud gotta beat the beard off of Boots. Hey, man, I wanted to be a good fight, but I just wanted to talk some boxing shit. Like, seriously, man, I just, if you look at how Teofimo Lopez was talking about Crawford, right? But Teofimo's not in the division. And then you listen to how Greg was talking about Crawford. Greg kept it light. Why? Because, you know, they want to fight, really. But they know trash talking Crawford ain't going to get them to fight. It's not going to get them to fight, man. It's not. But like I said to you all they had to do was leave the IBF alone. Why did you snatch it? You can't just put it off on the sanctioning body like you didn't know what was going on. Man, the word was out. Y'all knew what was going on with the sanctioning body putting that, you know, putting that letter out there. That's what they saying. So why would you take a title which eliminates you from enforcement? You don't have no more enforcement, brother. It's a wrap. You have no more enforcement. You got the title off Crawford, stripped him. You don't have nothing. You don't have no enforcement from the IBF to say, Jaron Ennis is next. You need to fight him by this or you're going to be stripped. That's the proper way. Then Bud would have had to make a decision like, okay, goddamn, Errol Spence ain't doing that. They have to work that shit out. Whatever how it's going to play. But you have no enforcement, bro. Moving forward, once you strip that title from Crawford, you want to go back and revisit and say we want to fight you now? It makes no sense, man. You didn't get no more credit by stripping the title. Once again, 0 to 100. We're talking numbers right now. Your FICO actually went down by taking that title off Crawford without just coming up in the mandatory and letting him vacate it if he didn't want to or fight you. But like we said, the undisputed trumps a lot. Unfortunately, Crawford won't get credit by beat Ennis. If for none of this world, they would disown Ennis. I mean, I don't think they fully support him yet. You know what I'm saying? They busy talking about Crawford every other day. Ennis got paid $300K combined in his last 3 fights. Jesus Christ. I don't know where that came from, but I don't get into the numbers. But goddamn it, I'm really trying to keep it on this IBF because why would you pretty much submit paperwork to remove your enforcement? When the IBF sanctioned body enforce the mandatory, when they enforce the mandatory defense, they will enforce it, bro. So if he inherited that shit from Spence, why did y'all expedite it? It's a lot of avenues that doesn't make sense to me. Y'all wanted it smoothly, but it seems like y'all was over anxious to get it the easiest ways possible, bro. So the paperwork was submitted and y'all stole the shit instead of just getting it and maximizing the credit that you would have got from that. And you would have went in there and beat Crawford, you would have had all the belts. You wouldn't just be going in there fighting him for the IBF. You would have been in there fighting him for all the fucking belts. So that's why I'm looking at the situations like, that shit makes 0 sense what happened over there. That's why I had to do a live on it. That's why I'm saying FICO, this shit don't make no sense, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your FICO is affected by some decisions that was made. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you was pulling out of fights, which would count for delinquency, but your FICO is low because one, your mediocre resume, and then you took a big hit by basically paperwork being submitted for the IBF. You left the WBO, went to the IBF, removed your enforcement by having the IBF send a letter to Crawford and strip him of the title, knowing that he was binded contractually for a rematch with Spence. Why expedite? What y'all was in a hurry? Who was in a hurry to do what? Who is going to pay for the fight? Good question. Dude, boots have not been tested. Have been said, yes, he is undefeated, athletic, and can switch it, but I feel Bud hurts him and finish him off. The lack of experience, subpar comp, gets him KO'd. Look, Trick, and everybody else. I know Greg was keeping it light. I can't see you saying that it's gonna be a war for 3. Who's had Bud Crawford in a war? Who has he been in a war with? I mean, Jaron wasn't even in a war with Corinne Chilligan, bro. He wasn't even in a war with Ramon Villa, to be honest. It's just Villa, you know, when he come in there and pose in front of you and shit, he's there to be hit, right? That wasn't a war. That wasn't a war at all, bro. That was just a fighter who kept on coming forward and he was there to be hit. That ain't Crawford. Ramon Villa ain't Crawford, bro. Who has been in a war with Crawford? That they went to the scorecards and Crawford's over there looking like Spence July 29th. Who has been in a war with him? Please, somebody. They need to go to Saudi Arabia to get that money for the fight. Bud Crawford won't take less than $5 million against Ennis. Okay, so Bud can definitely get more than $5 million if Riyadh, if the Sheiks is over there. But as much as I want to say it, you know that the Bud and Ennis isn't a fight that is worthy to be over there in Riyadh. I have to, tread cautiously on that, because that is a fight that can go over to Riyadh. If I don't know the intricacies internal on who signed the who and how much freaking fingertips Al Heyman has on the subject. Because last time he said he didn't want nobody else touching it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much. They say Crawford signed on to PBC for 2 to 3 fights. I don't know, man. I don't know exactly. But Crawford and Jaron Ennis fighting over there in Riyadh, yeah. People come over there and watch it. Real talk, they'll come over there. They'll definitely go over there. And then, the US fan base wouldn't have to worry about playing a high ass pay-per-view ticket point. You know what I'm saying? That should be over there for like $35, $40. And plus they'll both get paid. People tune in. You're talking about Daniel Dubois and Jarrell Miller was over there, dog. You know what I'm saying? Come on, they'll watch that fight. But I doubt the Sheiks are interested. Nor do I think they want to do business with Al Heyman. Remember that. Al Heyman is one of the only promoters that hasn't been invited or you seen over there. You seen Queensberry, you seen Matchroom, you seen Top Rank, you seen all of them cats. No Al Heyman. I don't think they doing business like that, bro. Only way it happens is Saudi wants to see it because Al's not going to make it and Bud's still locked in with the contract. Bud can't do shit right now. Yeah, I got you. I agree. Once Bud beats them, they disown the fighter. Do less content and move to the next fighter. Well, I wouldn't say so much to the point where they disowned him because they knew a lot about, Errol Spence getting out of pocket for a long time now. And no one can bring him back in and get him freaking grounded. It was no mentors around to get this man grounded. And I can understand why, because he was braggadocious about, I love being out of pocket. I've been out of pocket my whole life. So if he couldn't get anyone in that circle with Al Heyman to get him grounded and think about, the future and staying ready so he don't have to get ready, he wouldn't have got displaced the way he did on July 29th. Because he got displaced, shawty. We seen it. I don't think Prince is a big fan of welterweight. He seemed like he only likes welterweight for the most part, heavyweights. If the fight big enough, you got to look at it like this too, pugilist. He was talking about trying to get Tank over there. Come on now. If you're a big name, the Sheik want to put money in you. You know what I'm saying? He had no problem with getting a lower weight class. You know what I'm saying? He has no problem. He had cruiserweight up there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I think it can happen. Oh, man. He said, I don't think the Prince probably don't even know who Boots is. Man, you might be right, though. You might be right, bro. But I know damn well he ain't doing business with Al Heyman, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Prince want Haney and Tank. And Al got a deal in that. But like I said, Al probably told him no. I don't know, man. I don't know how that worked out. But what do y'all think about Ennis's FICO? You know what I'm saying? Does his FICO add up to step in the ring for Undisputed to face Crawford? I'm going to be honest. I don't think so. Nowhere even close. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he needs some credit repair. No, he just needs some competition to go on his resume so that needle can move. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the names, the allowable names. He don't have it, bro. So that's why I graded his FICO to be fair. To be fair is him having a 31-0 record, 28 knockouts. But as far as the big names on there, no. It's not even close, bro. It's not. Prince won't lose any sleep if Tank Haney don't get made. But him not seeing AJ versus Usyk Fury would deeply stir him is what I'm getting at. Yeah, for sure. You ain't lying on that. That's true words right there. That's absolutely true words. He'll lose sleep on that shit. He want that heavyweight undisputed now. Absolutely. He want that Ngannou freaking Joshua. Yes, sir. Everyone is speaking for Boots. The boy doesn't want to fight Bud. Man, talk to him, man. That shit is fuzzy, ain't it? It's fuzzy, bro. Boots won't really, continue to, put his name out there like that. But everybody else want to keep on. Boots, he in a rock and a hard place. No, he ain't. That man is fine, dog. He's fine. He just got them all that money. He's good. He's good right now, bro. He's doing just fine in life. I don't know what rock that is. That must be a pebble under his feet. Man, because he's doing good. Bud Crawford will end Manny Pacquiao. Yo, Manny Pacquiao, man, he's coming back to fight Floyd next. Boots too passive to get a Bud fight. His fans, really Spence fans, want that fight more than he does. You know, I'm curious now, you know, to see if this fight will ever happen at 54-47. But to basically say that it'll be a war from 3 rounds to the 3rd round to the 12th round, I haven't seen a person. I don't know that person is. I see not who you thought you wanted to talk about. Like, who is taking Bud to a war at welterweight? So since Ennis has nobody on his resume that's even comparable to Terence Crawford's top tier opponents, how do you know Jaron Ennis won't go out and look even worse than Errol Spence? Man, you're talking about a very athletic, talented, intelligent fighter with a team that's on point. On point. It could be a bad fight, though. Even if the money for Pac is there, people will hate Bud too much if he destroy old Pac. He should turn it down if an offer comes. Nah, bro. They want to keep on approving Pacquiao for these freaking fights. Nah, what are you talking about? Turn it down. What are you talking about? Shit. I don't know what he'll fight Pacquiao for. Seriously, I don't know what he's going to fight the man for. He has no title. He has nothing except his legacy. 8th Division World Champion, Hall of Famer. I don't know why he ain't retired yet. He must be giving all his money away in the Philippines. I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I don't know, man. T.O. say he wants to smoke, so we have to wait to February till he finished with Jermaine Ortiz. I got T.O. in that fight. And then to see what his language is once he finished. Because, believe it or not, people want to see a Crawford versus Teofimo fight before they want to see a Crawford versus Boots. Teofimo has a bigger name than Boots. And anybody want to go out there and debate that, please say I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, dog. I'm curious why Teofimo does not want to fight Ennis. Hey, Ennis doesn't have anything to offer Teofimo Lopez, bro. I mean, what does he have to offer? Say once again, T.O. go up there and fight Ennis. Now, of course, some people going to watch the fight because they feel that T.O. is a smaller fighter and Ennis is the bigger fighter. And once again, it'll be one of those fights. You know, you talking about experience. You know, T.O. having less experience than Jaron Ennis, but yet he got more experience than Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, they say numbers don't lie, but in this case, numbers is lying. You know what I'm saying? T.O. has very, minimal fights, but he's fought the Masayoshi Nakatani, Richard Combs, Lomachenko, Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? Moved up. Fought Sandor Martin. The first guy he fought, and then he fought Josh Taylor, a former undisputed guy. I mean, come on, bro. Come on, man. He has less fights, but he got more experience in big fights. Boots don't have a Lomachenko on his record. What we talking about? Boots don't have a Lomachenko on his record. He don't have a Sean Porter on his record, a Errol Spence on his record. You know what I'm saying? When, they used to talk about all this common opponent when it came to Crawford. Why not Boots? Where's it at? Are y'all freaking, do y'all have that silent mouth disease right now? The be quiet disease? Do y'all have that be quiet disease now? I'm a shut up disease? Why y'all ain't talking about common opponents? Why y'all ain't saying that shit? I don't hear nothing. I don't hear nothing, bro. Spence back in training. What's next for Spence? All top guys at 147-54 are tied, except Ennis and Bud, Crawford, and Spence. Look, is it possible for Spence to come back and look better than he did the first fight? Yes. Has he grabbed the jump rope before in his professional career? Absolutely, dog. I mean, people are going crazy. They see the man in the gym. Look, that's how bad they want this man to go in there and be competitive against Crawford. This man is performing a basic drill that a lot of boxers do, get ready and get in shape. It's called jumping the rope, jump roping, or rope jumping. Any way you want to say it. It happens all the time in boxing. They just happy that they're seeing Spence go through it so early. And then, it gives them hope. But you want to know what I didn't see in that film? You might correct me if I'm wrong, Hugh. I could have sworn I didn't see an eye patch on. I'm just saying. It takes 8 weeks, right? Was he jump roping with an eye patch on? I didn't see it. Maybe my cataracts was acting up. Was he jumping with a jump rope with an eye patch on? I didn't see it. I would think if somebody just had surgery, they'd still have an eye patch on. I'm just saying, y'all. Hands have been casted at the Hall of Fame. Yes, indeed, brother. What's going on? The breakdown on deck. Salute. WBC title 154 is vacant, so Bud can go get that belt. No, Sebastian Fundora is about to fight another guy for that WBC title, and I don't think Jermell Charlo is coming back. If Jermell Charlo stays at 154, then he is freaking delusional. The reason why I say that is he's already been undisputed. What are you scared of? You talk all that big money shit and you don't want to move up to 160 and there's nothing going on up there? Man, you got Jana back up there. You know what I'm saying? You got Arislan De Laura. You got Big Brother Maul. Call out one of them. Call them out. You're going to say, oh, I'm going to champion in recess, which you vacated. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to go back in here and fight Sebastian Fundora for what? He's already been stopped. What is Jermell Charlo going to get by returning and fighting Fundora? What is he going to get? Nothing. What purpose is it for him to hang out at 154? Pointless. Bud Crawford will be a huge favorite against Ennis. The fight wouldn't go 12 rounds, period. I'm looking at it. I don't see it going 12 rounds. Real talk. Shout out to MD Mills in the building. Salute, brother. How you feeling, man? Sometimes having no credit is worse than having bad credit. Talk that shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? You ain't lying, right? In this case right here, what would you say? You know what I'm saying? He got credit. 31-0, he has credit. But he has fair credit now. He has fair credit. I don't say he has bad credit. He has fair credit. When it comes to the names on there, he has fair credit. He don't have any big names on there, so I can't really give him a good FICO score on this. I have to put him in the fair range. Shout out to the Brim Reaper on deck, man. I think you might be wrong about that. If we put a poll up, most would say they wanted Bud versus Boots before T.O. Well, I said they will support a T.O. versus Bud rather than a Crawford versus T.O. I mean, a Crawford versus Boots. The reason why I mention that is because when you talk about the accomplishments is there. 2-time undisputed, right? Okay, that's the common denominator. And then if you do the wishbone effect and you have on one side, you have Teofimo Lopez and the other side, you have Boots. Well, point blank period, we know T.O. has accomplished more than Boots Ennis. We know when it comes down to notoriety and popularity, T.O., it ain't even close when it comes to Boots. It's not even close. So I think you're looking at it from a standpoint of a small group of YTC pundits that will say Boots. But overall, in a larger spectrum, people want to see Crawford versus T.O. If we was comparing T.O. versus Boots facing Crawford. They want to see Crawford versus T.O. because he's been up there and he's did more in his career. This man's a two-time lineal champion, two-time divisional champion, multi-division champion. He fought for his, bro. He fought for his. When he went over there and won the IBF title, he beat Richard Comey, bro. That's all I'm saying there, Brim Reaper. He beat Richard Comey. He didn't get it in the freaking paperwork in a box of papers. Boots versus Bud would look like Paulie Malignaggi versus Miguel Cotto. Paulie was calling out Cotto, accused him of ducking. They fought. He beat Paulie like he stole a pack of Hubba Bubba. Shit, man, shout out to Hubba Bubba. You got about a good 8 seconds before it runs out of freaking taste. Shout out to Hubba Bubba, man. God damn, Hubba Bubba Bubblicious. You got about 8 seconds to chew that motherfucker before it runs out of goddamn sugar, man. Even though Spencer's major cap, the eye catch isn't required to stay on each eye after a week. Okay, so if the eye patch is the topic of the conversation, let's just say he doesn't need it. Good for him. Well, when I look at it, Brim Reaper, all the excuse makers, they're sitting up here now using the eye. So, okay, let's just say he don't need the eye patch. And everybody's a doctor. You know what I'm saying? So if he don't need the eye patch, kudos to him. But what he need is a whole new training to get him ready for Crawford. That's what he needs. He needs another game plan before he goes in there for the rematch. That's what he needs. He needs a different set of fan base so they won't be out here making all these fucking excuses. That's what he needs. The eye, I was just saying, he didn't have an eye patch over his eye. Everybody's eye surgery isn't the same severity. You know what I'm saying? It isn't the same severity, bro. So I don't know. I can't speak for that man. All I know, it was piss poor for him to wait that long after getting beat up July 29th to basically waste time the rest of 23 and then come into 24 when we're waiting for this rematch date to be announced and he's up there going live in a wheelchair tomorrow. He had to go in there. My eye. Your eye, you say it's been like that for the last 3 years. And then when you got out the ring, it's not making sense that you didn't even go make an appointment to the doctor. You didn't make an appointment to the doctor. And you come up here and go live and then say shit to your fans in 24. All of a sudden you was forced to go to the freaking doctor. I don't care about no eye patch. I'm just talking about the fans who's sitting up here just making excuses about this man. Jaron Ennis is FICO. At the end of the day, it needs help. He can't do it, Brim Reaper. Look, Reaper. Let's just take away the Brim. He needs to visit the Reaper. He need to go to the dark side and visit the Reaper. Maybe the Reaper can reverse that, because that's who he saw the night that it happened. The Reaper spared him. The Reaper spared him. He needs to go back to the Reaper and ask for a favor. You know what I'm saying? He needs to go back because he was in the dark for a long time. Spence was on the dark side for a long time. For real. It was only a matter of time him living out of pocket that incident happened on the road. He need to go back to the Reaper and try to reverse that, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you live in darkness and an incident, bring you out of it, well, sometimes you got to go back to it to get some things cleared up. You know what I'm saying? You got to go find some answers to some things. Some people who live in darkness, they love it. They love living in the shade. They love that shit. He has that Capital One credit card that they give the people trying to build their credit, the one with $300 limit. So I do have his credit above 300. You know what I'm saying, MD? Bad is considered 300 to I believe 620. Okay, so his FICO right now is fair. It's sitting about 621. But that's because he's undefeated and he has no draws on his record and he has 28 knockouts and his knockout percentage is over 90%. So I had to grade him at fair. But everything else after that, the criteria gets a little fuzzy. It gets a little fuzzy. Because, you know, Sergey Lipinets can't carry for year after year. You can't do that no more. Sergey Lipinets is done. He's at 140. We need somebody else on this record to really give us some hope. You know what I'm saying? To give Spence, you know what I'm saying? To give Crawford. Because look, these guys may fight each other at 154. Spence may be at 154. Crawford, Jaron Ennis may move to 154 while these guys are still there. They may fight at 154. But your resume, in order to make these big fights right now, man, you need to fight somebody. I don't think Crawford's in a rock and a hard place. He doesn't have to fight at 147. He can fight at a higher weight. He wants Canelo. He wants Canelo. I think Bud once again is gonna show people that he's just levels above him. You know, the only reason people not really willing to give him the levels, the levels above and the pure credit that he deserves is because all this damn weight drain shit and how bad he beat him. That's all. They don't want to give him freaking credit for that shit. He beat that boy up bad, and a lot of people lost money. A lot of people lost money, bro. They don't want to give him no freaking credit. They don't want it. They don't want to give that man no credit. And then we came out with the eye situation. Now it's the eyes. He had cataracts. He couldn't see. And all this other shit. The list goes on and on. But for the sake of Ennis, not to take it off him too much, his gym had an extreme amount of criticism for Crawford. But now you want to fight him? I mean, wasn't that conversation going on over there about him being weight drained and all that? But now you want to fight him? Why? If Crawford wasn't nobody before he fought Spence, and he beat Spence, and Spence wasn't 100%, so Crawford still don't get credit, why y'all want to fight that man? He hasn't did anything different. He ain't did anything different, bro. You said he was nobody before. You say he was nobody after Spence because Spence was weight drained, so he's nobody now. So why y'all want to fight a nobody? It's not making sense. He ain't did shit. Y'all not giving him credit for anything he did on July 29th because Spence was freaking weight drained, and they say he looked sleepy, drugged out. Crawford gloves was loaded, and he was on snack, falsely accusing this man of being on performance-enhancing drugs. Man, come on, bro. Nah, bro. Nah. You ain't lying, though. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jessica on deck. What's good? What's good, Queen? How you feeling? But we're going to talk about this another time, too, because there's still some stuff out there that I didn't even address about Boots and his FICO. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm looking at is it's not even close when it comes to these two. Like, even them being in the same division, it's not even close, y'all. They might be in the 147-pound division. A title, just because you have a title, Greg said he was holding. But when you look on his resume, it says what? Interim. He didn't even that, man. That's bad. You took a hit with that. You know what I'm saying? You took a hit with that paperwork. You basically enforced the withdrawal. I mean, you submitted paperwork to remove your enforcement, so you wouldn't be the mandatory to face Crawford, because IBF definitely would have made you do that. So that makes me think somebody don't really want to fight Crawford. If you want to strip him of the belt to the point where now he don't have to pay you any mind, you're a champion. That takes you out the rankings in every other division. I mean, every other sanctioning body. You're a champion now. So the IBF don't have to enforce the mandatory with Crawford because he don't have the freaking belt no more. You remove that enforcement from the IBF. So I'm puzzled. I'm puzzled, y'all. What is he trying to do? What does he want us to know? What do you want us to know, Boots? For real, what do you want us to know? Because I remember when you asked by YSM what would be the ideal fight for you, and you said Barrio Stantionis. You did not call Crawford first. If you would have said Crawford, and Crawford, then that shit would have went viral. Then people would be. They ain't talking about you like they talking about T.O. T.O. continues to talk shit and say he want to fight Crawford. But other people, like they said in the chat, other people up here trying to talk for you. That's not enough. Seriously. That's not enough. But man, hey, till tomorrow, well, till later on today, man, y'all hold it down. Appreciate y'all pulling up. We'll do it again. And shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side Official. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, subscribe.